Hello, welcome to the Mythology Manifest. For those of you that often watch my videos, you will know it's been around 2 weeks since my last one. And since then, I've decided that I am now going to be doing 2 videos a week, one on Tuesdays and the other on Saturdays. However, if you would like to see more mythological content, you can check out my Twitter at themythologyma1, where I post almost daily mythological information, and I will also be doing short 2-minute videos on mythology on Twitter on a Thursday, which I'm going to be calling my Mythology Moments. Anyway, on to today's video, which is going to be all about a very well-known god in Norse mythology, made quite famous by Marvel and Tom Hiddleston. It is the god of tricksters, Loki. I hope you enjoy it. So I would like to clear up a common misconception about Loki. He is often called God of Tricksters, but Loki is technically not a god. He is a Jotun, also known as a giant, and he was the son of the giants Fabauti and Laufey, and has 2 brothers, Hellblinder and Bylister. And although Loki was a giant and from Jotunheim, he was also blood brothers with Odin, not his son as Marvel says. And because of his kinship with the chief of the gods, Loki lived in Asgard with the Aesir and other gods. And Loki's sacred day is Saturday, so it's quite fitting that I do the video today. Before he came to Asgard, Loki lived in the land of the giants, Jotunheim, and was married to Angerboda, who was a giantess. With Angerboda, he had 3 children, Hel, Fenrir the Great Wolf, and the Midgard serpent who was called Jormungandr. When the Aesir were told that these 3 siblings were born in the land of giants, they decided this would bring great evil to the world, as in their opinion, all giants were evil. So Odin sent a group of gods to get the children and bring them to Asgard. When the children arrived, Odin threw Jormungandr into the deep sea, where he grew so big that he could bite his own tail and wrap himself around the world. Hel was thrown down into the underworld, where she made her own lair, which became known as Helheim, a place where all that dies of illness or old age would go. And the gods decided to keep Fenrir in Asgard for the time being, but then they changed their mind, and Fenrir was bound to a rock before he helped to destroy the world during Ragnarok. But whilst living in Asgard, Loki fell in love with the goddess of victory, Sigyn, and together they had 2 children by the names of Narvi and Vali. Now, Loki was not evil, but he wasn't good either, but he did love to cause trouble and play tricks on the other gods. Loki was actually very clever, and he would trick and embarrass the other gods and make sure they had no idea it was him that had done it, and then he would jump in and save them from their humiliation so that he would look like the hero of the day. Loki did have an amazing ability, and that was shape-shifting, and he often used this to his advantage to help trick people. In most myths, he appeared in the form of a seal, a fly, an old woman, a salmon, or most famously, a female horse. In the guise of this female horse, Loki offended Odin, who cursed him to remain this way. During his time as a mare, Loki fell pregnant and gave birth to an 8-legged horse called Sleipnir. And after the birth, Odin took Sleipnir for his own steed and allowed Loki to become his usual form once again. That was not the only time that Loki was punished for taking one of his tricks too far. He once cut the magic golden hair of Sif, who was the wife of Thor, and in anger, Thor hit him incredibly hard with his magical hammer. After many gods and goddesses decided Loki had made one prank too many, after he conspired to kill the god Baldur, he was punished properly. The Aesir placed Loki in a cave with a poisonous snake above his head, thinking the poison would drip onto Loki and kill him. Luckily for the giant trickster, his faithful and loving wife Sigyn stayed with him in the cave and held a bowl over his head to catch the poison from the snake to make sure that he stayed safe until the Ragnarok. Loki is associated with mistletoe, and his symbol is that of 2 snakes circling each other, making the shape of an S and biting each other's tails. In modern times, a horned helmet distinguishes Loki, and this is thanks to the villainised version of him which Marvel created. His rune was Kaunas, which is the Norse letter for K, and it stood for illumination, knowledge and kinship. Kelnas had both positive and negative implications, much like Loki himself. At one point in Norse history, Loki was known as the god of fire, but as time went on, this changed to mischief and tricks, and he eventually became known as the Lord of Lies. And they are the basics surrounding Loki, the trickster giant. There are many more stories surrounding him which I hope to cover in the future. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, comment or subscribe. At the moment I'm on 98 subscribers and I would love to get this to 100, so please do share my channel with anyone you know who loves mythology or classics. As I said earlier, if you would like to, you can follow my Twitter, which there is a link to in the description below. In this video I mentioned Hel, Fenrir and Thor, and I've done videos on these 3 Norse characters as well, so please feel free to check those out if you want to. Please do let me know if there are any videos you would like to see in the future from any aspect of mythology or classics. Thank you for helping me with keeping classics alive. I will see you next time on the Mythology Manifest.